Guys, what is going on? I am not gonna intro this video by saying I'm really excited for, and then tell you what I'm gonna be doing, because once you realize what I think I might be doing in today's video, saying I'm really excited doesn't really do it any justice. Look at this Series 2 in all her beauty. That's right, guys. So today I think I may be able to get the car off the axle stands and back on its own wheels. Now, there are a few little things I need to do under the car before we get it running, like refit the exhaust and make a custom downpipe, because obviously the new turbo location is here and the downpipe is going to go down that way there, and normally it would be underneath there. What I am going to do is I'm going to completely get rid of the speedo cable, because I am going to be running a digital dash, and I'm going to put a Hall effect sensor on one of the sides on the front there. But all of that can come in a later video, because I really do need to get this car on its own wheels, because I need to be able to move it around in and out of the garage, because it is my parents' garage. I don't live in this house anymore. We've bought another property on the other side of town, and Mum keeps going on about how she wants to get her car in the garage. So I think I'm ready to put it back on its own wheels. There are a few little things I need to do, like basically just tighten all of the nuts and bolts that hold in the rear control arms and the front control arms. I'm not going to torque those down, because I do want to have the car on full weight before I torque them down. That is going to come in another video, and I'll show you guys how I do that. Basically going to hire someone's pit to do that, but it is what it is. So here's the intro. Join me back on a time lapse with some fully sick music that I think is genre correct for the type of car that I'm working on today. Now I got to ride or die. Alright, so some faint music playing in the background while we get on here. So basically just gonna re-grease the rear wheel bearings with some brand new grease and reassemble all of that together. The way that you assemble these rear wheel bearings is a little bit different to what you might expect. So what you need to do is re-grease everything and put it back in the order you took it off. But the little thin nut that sits on the outside, you're gonna torque that down to spec, and then you're gonna take it off half a turn, so 180 degrees, then do it up finger tight, and then you're going to put the little collar on and then a split pin through the stub axle. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass and a bit of a mess around, but that's how you do it. So underneath the car now, just doing up all the bolts that connect the hub to the lower control arm to the body, and then the rear trailing arm that connects to the hub and the body underneath the handbrake cable. You can see I've painted mine red there, and you can see it underneath the brand new handbrake cable. Now, same on this side, you're going to clean all the old grease off the little stub axle, pack the bearing full of grease, brand new grease, and then again reassemble it in the opposite order that you took it off. Torque it down to spec, take it off 180 degrees, finger tight, little collar, split pin, and then the outer casing for the rear drum. So you'll notice here I'm still just tightening everything up. I don't want to torque everything down to spec when there's no weight on the car. When you torque everything down to spec with no weight on the car, especially if you've got brand new bushings in, you're going to be putting a lot of strain on the bushings, because then when you do eventually put the car down on the ground, you start moving around, those bushings are going to twist inside of their little housings, and that's not something that you want to happen. So now I'm back underneath this side of the car, and I'm just tying away the handbrake cable and the return fuel line that returns from the fuel rail back to the tank. I'm just using some cable ties to tie it away, just so I can get everything out of the way and off the ground, so I can put wheels on and get the car back down on the ground. On to putting the wheels on now. I won't hang around too much on this topic. It's pretty straightforward. I did have one wheel that had a puncture, or the tire even had a puncture, not the wheel. And I did need to get the compressor out to fix that up later on in the video. And yep, here I am with the compressor just pumping up this front tire. It actually had a nail in it, and I'm not too sure where that came from because they weren't flat when I took it off the car, but it is what it is. So that side's down, off the jack stands, and now a little bit of a fanny around on the other side, and we're now off the axle stands, ready to push it out into the sun. And here she comes out into the sun in all of her glory. Check it out, guys. How cool does this look? To actually have it out basking in the lovely Australian sun once again. You can see all the dust on the car, but you can see just how good condition this car really is. There you go, guys. Out of the garage. Now I can sweep out in here, clean up all of this mess, and then push the car back into its little spot whilst I wait for things like the wiring loom, the ECU, downpipe, put the exhaust on and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm going to have to take a look at those rear wheel bearings, and the brakes do need a lot of work because when I put my foot on the pedal to stop the car, as it rolled out of the garage, there was zero in the way of brakes. Good thing I connected a handbrake though, otherwise I would have rolled all the way into the FJ there. But hey, it would have stopped me, and or I might have gone underneath it, you never know. But guys, as always, thank you so much for being here, sharing this journey with me, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next episode.